Welcome to our Austin Art in Public Places information meeting. My name is Constance White, and I am new to Austin, but not new to public art or art in public places. But I'm happy to be here in this role, serving as the manager for the Art in Public Places program. I am joined this evening by my colleagues, and there are 6 of us online to be available to engage in conversation with you about the projects that opened on September 27th. And just to be organized, I'll go in order on the screen as I see you so that we can introduce ourselves to you for those of you who may not know us, and you can put a face with our names. So I'll start with Kurt at the top of my screen. Do you have a one-liner for us, Kurt, for us to hear your voice?
Oh, hey, I thought we were just going to do the thing. No, I'm just happy to see everybody. It's been a while since we did one of these, and we're really glad that you're here tonight. So just let us know if you have any questions.
Anna?
Thank you, Constance. My name is Anna Bradley. I'm a senior project manager with Art in Public Places program. I've been doing this for 10 years, and I'm very excited to see some familiar names in the group and also some new names. I do apologize if you hear a dog barking in the background.
Frank? I got you. Sorry about that, Frank.
I'm just drinking whatever I'm drinking. Protein shake. So I'm collection manager Frank Wick with AIPP. I know a number of you, and it's good to see you. And I'm looking forward to meeting those of you I haven't met yet. So yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Thanks. Ryan?
Hello, everyone. Ryan Runcie, project manager with AIPP. As the others have said, it's great to see so many familiar faces for tonight's discussion. So I'm looking forward to it.
Wonderful. And last but not least, Alex.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex Herrera. I am a project manager, like my fellow colleagues, with Art in Public Places. I've been here about 3 years, and yeah, thank you for joining tonight. And we're excited to talk to you about these projects, and welcome. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. That's our fabulous team. I'm really lucky to be working with so many very talented and knowledgeable folks who love what we do, and also the city of Austin. For the next hour and a half, we'll be engaging you in conversation. Many of the projects that we have are new construction, or the sites don't really exist in a way that we have images or visuals to show. So there is really nothing new under the sun at this point as far as visuals to share, but we definitely wanted to be available to answer questions. We will do a guided walkthrough and a high-level overview of each of the projects that have open opportunities right now, just to refresh and bring top of mind to you of what we have going on, to remind you that the deadlines to submit for all of these projects is December 7th. And so I will turn it over to Alex to start with our overview for the first project that we have.
Thanks, Constance. I'm going to go over the 2 projects that are in my umbrella. The first one of those is a open call opportunity for the Mexic Art Day Museum. This opportunity has a budget of $260,000. That's all inclusive. The eligibility is that the call is open to artist teams located in Texas, with at least 1 member located in Austin. So that the group has ties to Austin. The way to apply to this application is through our public artist platform. The requirements are typical. Your CV, you're answering a couple of specific questions about your ties to the community and or the site. Which you'll find on the application. And the timeline for this one's a little bit longer. Like Constance said, all of the applications are going to be due on December 7th. This project, the construction project for the renovation of the museum is really just entering into design now. So the artwork probably would not be installed until 2026. We want to get the artist in early. So that's why we're releasing the call now to bring the artist on board nice and early. The second application I'm going to talk about is the open call for 3 Austin fire and emergency medical service stations. It's one application, again, located on publicartists.org, and it's open to artists who are based in Texas. The 3 stations are located in different areas throughout Austin. And the budget for each of the stations is different. So the 2 of the budgets are for $240,000 and one is a slightly smaller budget for $196,000. The timeline for this is going to be similar to some of the other projects that we talk about tonight. I think we're hoping to install for all of these around spring, summer 2024. And you can see the timeline on the application. So and I guess something else unique to mention about these projects is that because, typically we do community engagement for a lot of our projects, but for these stations, you'll not only necessarily be engaging with the community, but also the staff that works in the stations because they live and work there. With that, I'll turn it back over to Constance. Thanks.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Since we are doing this conversation style, we have kind of gone back and forth to see, just check in with you all to see if you want to ask questions after each of us presents the information, or if you'd like to wait till the end. We have about 6 more of these to go through. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat, or you can raise a hand and we'll address them at that time. I am making a great assumption that you are here because you have read all of the prospectus or the solicitations, and you're so intrigued and so interested that you wanted to be here to engage in conversation. If any of you have not had an opportunity to read through all of the open opportunities that we've had, also put that in the chat and we can make sure that you receive the information once we conclude the meeting. So I'll go through the next project that we have available or that we have opportunities for. It's a site, and it's the Doherty Art Center. The Doherty has been around for a long time in Austin, and we actually have 4 opportunities. One iconic artwork opportunity that is open to artists nationally who have already been juried into the pre-qualified artist list for the city of Austin. We are looking for an iconic artwork. The facility is currently in an early design phase. There's a lot of discussion around what will be involved in all of the facility. In the initial prospectus that went out, the RFQ that went out, it described about 6 sites of where artwork could be sited. And I want to say that in our last meeting, all of that has kind of gone by the wayside, and we want the artists to stay open to opportunities. Again, so that is the $200,000 budget for the iconic artwork, open to artists nationally who have already been pre-qualified into our pre-qualified artist selection pool. And the application process for that was sent in a link to the artists who have already submitted their information to the pre-qual list. And so if you didn't receive the link, let us know and we'll send it to you again. And also if your information isn't up to date, we'll need you to update your information for that. The other 3 opportunities are for emerging artists, and that is an open call for emerging artists that are in the greater Austin metro throughout the 7 counties in the Austin area. I want to go back to the iconic artwork and say that we are looking to shortlist artists and ask the shortlisted artists to submit proposals, and you'll be compensated $1,500 for the proposal phase. So that's for the iconic artwork. For the smaller commissions, which are $44,000 each, there are 3 of those that are available. Again, open, not limited to the pre-qual list, but open to all artists who are currently residing in the 7-county metro. And we will be interviewing those artists only. We're not asking the artist, the emerging artist, for any type of proposal. Your selection will be based on your interview. I think I covered everything on that. Our timeline, we're hoping to install, this is very ambitious, looking at the winter of 2024. Again, with the way that the construction industry is going right now, some of our timelines are being pushed out a little bit. So as of now, we're projecting winter 2024 for completion, project completion and installation for that. Okay. I think I'll punt it over to Ryan.
Constance,
Yes.
just here, was that for the Doherty or that was for a different one?
That's for the Doherty.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the question. Ryan, can I punt to you next?
Yes. So we're going to be transitioning to pre-qual opportunities now. And so I'll be talking about the 7 libraries. It's 1 second. So sorry. So for this opportunity, it is 7 different libraries. Cepeda branch, Little Walnut branch, Menchaca branch, St. John's branch. We have, I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. St. John's branch, Hampton branch, and Willie Mae Kirk branch. For each of these opportunities, they're a little bit different from the others mentioned, as we'll be purchasing pre-existing artworks. So there will not be a design phase and a fabrication phase. We'll be purchasing directly to install artworks in, at, or near these 7 locations. The total budget for all of these artworks is $91,000. That will be split to $13,000 per location and per artist contract. The eligibility for this call is that you will be an artist that does not have an artwork in the AIPP collection currently, and you are part of the 7 counties of the Austin Metro. And the timeline for this, we're looking to hopefully have all of the art procured by the end of next year. I think you're muted there, Constance.
Thank you for that, Ryan. We are really working hard to diversify opportunities for artists to have access to our processes and to be included in the collection. And so we are really diversifying various opportunities in our process. I do want to clarify for the Doherty Art Center that for the 3 emerging artist opportunities, the application process is through publicartist.org. So I neglected to mention that. Again, as we are going through all of these projects, we realize that it's a lot. Please put questions in the chat. We're monitoring the chat, and we'll make sure that we get to all of your questions. I think I'll punt it over to Anna next. Anna, if you're ready, please take the mic.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here. I'm going to talk about one application for 2 different opportunities, both in the Parks and Recreation Department Aquatics Division. So we've got the Montopolis Recreation and Community Center that just got a huge new revision. They're now doing their pool. It's going to be a very simple, short restoration of the pool with a pool liner. This is a $100,000 opportunity available to local artists, and we hope that this project will be finished by 2024, open for the summer swim season. We don't have an artwork opportunity for this yet. We're going to have the artist work with the architect and the Parks Department and the Project Aquatics Division and the project team to develop something. I will say that this site is in need of some shade, and there's a lot of opportunities for a lot of different mediums. The next opportunity is for Beverly Sheffield Park Pool in District 7, and this again is a $100,000 commission, all inclusive. And this pool is primarily used by swimmers who do lap swimming. So it's got a very active group that uses it for exercise and recreation. Again, it's going to be a simple restoration of redoing the pool liner, and we hope to have this project installed by the 2024 spring open pool season. Again, both of these opportunities are all inclusive, $100,000 each, one application via publicartist.org. There are questions that you'll answer that will prompt up in the additional information, and that will give you an opportunity to say specifically if you're interested in one, the other, or both pools. Again, simple application for Travis County Metro or the 7-county metro residents of Travis County, 3 resumes, images, current images, and those short questions to answer that. Again, this will be closing on December 7th. That's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna. You can see how excited we are about the projects. I'll punt it over to Kurt next to talk about the other opportunities. Take it away, Kurt.
Hey, thank you, Constance. I'm going to tell you about the Austin History Center Falk Building project first, because it's a little bit different one for us. It's what we're kind of envisioning this as a residency and also a public art commission. Well, a residency that results in a public art commission. You will be doing some deep research with the archivists at the History Center, finding out about the practices of the site, the history of the library system, and the different and the work that the cultural archivists are doing over there. There's some really interesting work coming out of there that we just wanted to daylight through public art. So the first half of it would be 3 months of residency, followed by figuring out a public art project informed by your residency. The budget on this is $196,000. This opportunity is open to people who are on our pre-qualified artist list who are Texas-based. This is an opt-in opportunity. I dropped links to the various opt-in opportunities for your convenience. You should have gotten an email, but the links work just as well. There's a couple of questions in there about your interest, but it's not a whole lot of heavy lifting. If you want to redo your publicartist.org application, your which images you have and how you frame yourself in advance of submitting to these opt-in opportunities, there's a prompt in there to follow, just to let us know to reopen your application so you can make edits and then submit it again on your behalf. So we're happy to do that because we know in some cases your profiles are 4 or 5 years old, unless you've been refreshing it through the years. There's some older content in there, but we want to give you the opportunity to update that. The last thing I want to say about the Austin History Center opportunity is that the general timeline is that we get you on contract by June 23, get you moving with the residency, and ideally get a work of public art installed by the end of 2024, December 2024. Any questions about that one? Hey, Suzanne.
Yeah, so the residency would start next June and be throughout the summer.
Yes.
Okay.
If we can get you on contract that quite quick. We hate to give absolute dates because sometimes the purchasing process takes longer, as I'm sure you're well aware from being a tempo artist, that we took 6 months longer than we thought it was going to last time. But hey,
But it worked.
it all worked out in the end. It was a great thing.
Exactly.
So did that answer your question, Suzanne?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Cool. All right. If there's no
I
other
think
questions,
Rudy has a question. Oh, no, he's
Oh.
clapping.
thanks, Rudy.
I do have a question.
Oh, hey,
Hey,
shoot.
yeah, so I guess would you be the point? I'm just gonna go through my emails and double check that I get all these, I'm on the pre-qualified list, that I make sure I got those links, but just who would be the point of contact? Or I guess maybe you could put it in the chat. That way I could just have a point of contact just to make sure, just in case I accidentally erase it or something like that.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and drop my email in the chat.
Thank you.
If you have questions about the opt-in opportunities, you can just email me directly.
Thank
Doing
you.
that now before I forget.
And that was it. That was my question.
All righty. Moving right along, I wanted to talk about another opt-in opportunity. This is also open to Texans on our pre-qualified artist pool roster. This is another cool one. It's for the Palmer Event Center, the smaller convention center on the lovely shores of Lady Bird Lake. And what we're looking for there is a large scale sculptural work on the south side of the building facing Barton Springs Road. I guess I'd hesitate to call it an entry feature because people come at this building from all angles, but it would be visible from the road. If somebody's mom's dropping them off in the pull off or something, where you're getting a vaccination. I think a lot of people did that at that building. That's where it's going. But this is pretty big budget, 430,000. How about that? We're really happy to make this a Texas only opportunity. Not that there's anything wrong with national level artists, but we really like to give every once in a while, as to the best of our ability, some large scale commissions that are for our friends and neighbors. What else can I tell you about this? It's on a similar timeline to the previous one I told you about, the History Center. Try to get you on contract by June, and then ideally get the artwork installed by the end of 2024. That might be a pipe dream depending on what it is, but you got to have goals in order to try and get these things in on time. So that is the schedule for that. What else can I tell you about the Palmer? That's pretty much it. Do you have any questions about that? Got a question from Michael in the chat. Are artists under contract generally ineligible for other projects? Does that include the Dougherty Arts Center project? I think that's a very good question, because it's been a little bit of a moving conversation. If you're on contract and the project is on hold, there's more flexibility than if you have an active contract, because sometimes projects slow down through no fault of the artist. So I think we're looking at these on a case-by-case basis, Michael. So you should talk to your project manager to make sure whether or not you're eligible for other opportunities.
I have a question kind of related to that. Would the library opportunity where they buy the piece outright, would that make you ineligible for a period of time at all?
No, I don't think so, because that's the direct purchase is like a one and done. You're not on an extended contract period. It's just a purchase. So short answer, no.
Cool, thanks.
Good question.
I have a question.
Hey, Will.
Hey, the Palmer project, are there any sort of like themes or sort of prompts for that one, or is it pretty
Hmm.
open at this point?
You know, the History Center, or I'm sorry, the Palmer Event Center and the Austin Convention Center department definitely has some values that they convey, and those are alluded to in the opt-in form. If you look up the way that the questions are framed, I think you'll sort of understand what they're looking for there. I will tell you, with both of these that I've just described, the selection panel will be made up of people from these departments. So there'll be people from the library department and an actual archivist selecting the artist for the residency at the History Center, and Austin Convention Center and Palmer Event Center staff will be selecting, will be comprising the selection panel for that opportunity. So that is your audience. If you wanted to sort of think strategically about how you want to frame yourself and how you want to answer the questions. But
Excellent.
yeah, does that answer the question, Will?
Yeah, and I'll just look closer at the actual documentation. Sounds like there's some good tips in there. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Good question. Thank you.
All right. I got my email in the chat if anybody wants to drop me a line afterwards, something occurs to you. But I'm going to, I think, punt it back over to Constance.
So thank you again, all of you, for joining us this evening. Do we have any other questions about these projects or about AIPP in general?
I know I've had a lot of questions, but I do have
That's
one
okay.
more.
We're here. We have reserved another hour of our time to be available to you and all of the questions that you have. So please ask away.
Great. When we opt in for these opportunities, is there ever an opportunity to like collaborate with another artist at all?
Yes, there has been precedent for you bringing in an artist that's not in the pool to be your creative partner on that, but you would be the lead artist and you would be the contractor, and they would be, a secondary artist on the project, but the contract would be with you if you were the only pre-qualified artist on the list. On the list.
Is that something that you would put in your submission, or would you?
Oh, very much so. Yeah. If you're
Yeah,
going to be, if you're planning ahead to collaborate with somebody, it's important to convey that relationship in advance.
That makes sense. Okay, thank you. I haven't looked at the application, so I wasn't sure how extensive it was.
It's super easy. We try to make it super easy because with these opt-ins, you've already applied to the pool, and we just wanted to speed up the process and not have you constantly filling out applications. Try to make it yes, no, maybe, send.
Thank you.
I had a question for Alex.
Hi.
Hi, Alex. I know the Mexican.
Uh-oh, you froze, Alessandro.
Alessandro, you're frozen. I'm sorry.
Well, while we're waiting for him, I think Rudy, did you have another question?
Yes, I did. Just to piggyback off of what the lady asked before, for the ones that are allowing a team to qualify or to apply, I'm on the pre-approved list, but I do not live in Austin. Would I be able to collaborate with somebody who I guess lives in Austin, but maybe is not on that pre-approved list? If I'm pre-approved, would she be able to meet the, I guess, the residency criteria that's asked?
That's a great question. Kurt, Anna, you veterans, how do we answer that question?
I think we could talk about the eligibility for the specific calls. Rudy, are you Texas-based?
Yes, I'm in San Antonio.
Okay, cool. Well, then the short answer is yes. It's because all of the opt-in opportunities and the pre-qual, most of the pre-qual opportunities are open to Texas-based artists. You, if it was an Austin only opportunity, unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to be the lead artist on that, lead applicant. But for the Palmer Event Center, for the Austin History Center, for the large scale Doherty opportunity, you could be the lead artist and bring people in on your application.
Okay, thank you.
Again, I'm sorry, I didn't get the response because I lost connections with Alex there.
Well, we'll ask you to ask the question again because we lost you midstream before you finished the question.
Right. I was asking what the 196,000 entailed. Was it going to be in the museum? Was it going to be an exterior piece? And did it deal with Texas history or Texans in general or Hispanics, or how was that framed?
Sure. So the budget for the Mexicarte Museum is $260,000, and yes, the intention is that the piece will be an exterior piece incorporated into the streetscape or facade. And let me just pull up some of the language we have here. 1 second. Just so I'm quoting this correctly.
I will say while Alex is pulling that up, that the project asks for an artist or artist team who has some relationship or connection to the Hispanic or Mexican American or Latinx community or communities. So that is one of the preferences that the client Mexicarte has requested.
Okay.
And I do have the language. So so the expected team of artists would work collaboratively with the museum stakeholders and the community to design and install one or more artworks that are interactive or programmable and contribute to the site as a placekeeping icon for downtown Austin. And the artwork should endow respect while celebrating honoring the cultural contributions of Hispanic, Latino, and Mexican American heritage. So I know that's kind of like verbose, that's kind of a lot of words and touching on a lot of things, but I think essentially the idea is that the artwork will be something like programmable or interactive that the museum can use or that folks in the community can interact with like on the facade or on the streetscape. It's kind of open at this point. And it could be one primary thing, it could be like multiple things. And then the work should have ties to basically the Mexicarte mission and intent. So
okay, and the artwork pieces for the libraries, how does that work? I mean, if we already have art pieces that are already made, do they just look at the art pieces and decide if they like the pieces for their library?
Sorry, for the libraries, that solicitation, you're going to enter up to 12 images for artwork that you want to be considered. As with the other opt-ins, you don't need to re-enter all of your information. This will be on Public Artist. So you're going to put in up to 12 images, and actually the Austin Public Library staff will be the selection panel for the artworks. So after they've made their selections, then we'll contact the selected artists, and it'll be a direct purchase from there.
Oh, that sounds really great. And how do I get the information to send this 12 images?
We can send out a link at the end of this, and I will drop it into the chat as well.
Sounds awesome. Okay, that's what I had. Thank you.
Perfect. All great questions. Thank you. Tyson, I see your hand up.
Yes, thank you all. I heard Kurt say that the Palmer Center was a 3D project. Is there any other projects that are required for 2D and 3D?
Hi, Tyson. Thanks for the question. What they're looking for there would be some sort of large scale thing that could be an entry feature. But if you're applying as a muralist, you have transferable skills. You know, what you do could be reconceptualized in mosaic tile or, you know, other mediums. So there's flexibility there if as to you know, what the final form would look like. So you wouldn't be ineligible based on your typical chosen medium. So the you know, you could apply to any of these with confidence. You may also want to apply you know, with somebody else, as some other artists have been considering, if you feel like there's somebody you would want to work with and would have you know, complementary skill sets. Does that answer the question?
Yes, sir. But are there any other 3D projects in this?
Yeah, there are other sculptural opportunities. There's the libraries. Tyson, I'm not sure if you're in the metro or if you're elsewhere. But the Doherty has potential for 3D for sculptural artworks. As Kurt said, the Palmer, as well as the residency, because you would be going through a research phase and then you propose essentially what you want to make or create, which could ultimately be 3 dimensions or a sculptural object. And so I think substantially for most of these, there is an opportunity that would result in sculptural 3-dimensional pieces.
I'd like to add that the Montopolis and Sheffield Pool projects are open to all mediums.
Angel or Angel, I think you had a question also.
It was kind of about the Mexicarte work. I actually worked there for 3.5 years, and I live in Houston now for the past, I guess, 12 years. Before I was living in Austin for about 6 years. As far as like the stakeholder buy-in, you know, and the requirement for one artist to be living as a resident in Austin, I was just looking to push back a little bit, but I see that it's probably, you know, moot at this point. So.
Thank you for your considerate understanding. Carmela, you had a question?
Okay, thanks. And thanks for taking the time. Can y'all hear me?
Oh, perfectly, yes.
Okay, good. Usually I don't have these in when I'm talking. Okay, so I'm recently moved to Texas, and I'm not in Austin, I'm in Canyon Lake, but I'm looking to apply for the Loop 360 fire station and emergency medical services. So my 2 questions are, I was working on a creative placemaking project in Charlotte, and pre-COVID, I had the high school and the neighborhood and all of these people involved. We were funded and it was awesome. And then everything shut down. So we tried to go for about a year and it just wasn't happening with the school situation. So my question is, like, could I use a project that was not finished, or not the pictures, but the reference? That's why I'm asking.
I think in general, Carmela, we like for the projects.
You have to put that whole background.
We need to know about all of your accomplishments. Hang on 1 second. We need to, I think they muted themselves. Great. I think in general, we like for the projects to be as site specific and site responsive as possible. Okay. So that, you know, there's an authentic relationship of the artwork to the site and to the client that's there. And so if there's some aspect of relevance, because you'll be required to do, if you were the chosen artist, you'd be required to do aspects of community engagement that includes not only the clients at the site, but also maybe some of the surrounding community, that would probably change and influence what you've already begun to ideate about, or could strengthen it. And so to the extent possible, I would say maintain some authentic aspect of relationship to the site, whatever your concept is and how you're creating it. So that
Okay,
was
and I
kind of
may
a-
not have been, yeah, I may not have been clear. Like I was going to use her as a reference, the urban planning person, not the idea, but because I
Okay.
wouldn't have pictures of the project, but I worked with her for a year. A lot of people were on board. It was just one of those that we had to cancel because the high school was locked down. You know, it's hard to get people to come out. So,
Oh, of course, certainly as a reference.
okay.
Yes, absolutely. That makes sense.
Okay, all right. And a quick second question. I've worked like I have a lot of I've collaborated with like worked with consultants and had glass projects and healthcare projects and some other smaller public art things, but I don't have a fabricator or list of fabricators that I've worked with here. So any suggestions on the application, since I don't have, you know, going into a bigger project than I've done before. I've managed pretty large budgets, but not this big. So just general suggestions, not having a current relationship with a fabricator.
I think we're not asking for proposals at this point, Carmela. We're only asking for qualifications. And so it's not unusual for artists to have fabricators in other places. It is a little bit of a curve sometimes to help find fabricators, depending on the type of work you're wanting to do and what you're looking at for installations. But it definitely doesn't preclude you from competing and participating in the process to apply.
Okay, and I've got connections like at Bullseye Glass, the Bullseye Studio, and other places. So I've got people that I could work with. But okay, that answered my questions. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll just mention, I know, I don't think I said it in the kind of project overviews, but yes, like Constance said, the application for the 3 fire stations is just a request for qualifications. So you're just showing past work. And then there is the option for the selection panel to go into a proposal stage. So they would, you know, review all the applications, shortlist. I think it's a shortlist artists that they wanted to see proposals from. And so there's a potential proposal phase, but the initial application is just request for qualifications. And same for Magic Art Day, which I don't think I said, but same situation, option to go to proposals. And both of those proposal phases would be paid for the artists participating in those. So.
Awesome. Great questions from everyone. Thank you so much for being attentive and engaged. We definitely are here for you and are doing this because we want you to feel good about this competitive process. We are continuing to evolve our processes so that we can increase visibility and also various levels of competition and accessibility. We'll be having more projects next year. We're going to take our time through the rest of this year to make sure we get grounded and launched with these projects that we have available right now. Does anyone else have any other questions? Frank, can you, what's in the chat? I'm sorry, I'm not seeing the chat, but I do see some things in the chat. Any questions?
Let's see, ineligible. We're up to date, I think, on the responses to those questions.
Okay, great.
Some of those are from like 20 minutes ago.
Okay, perfect. Well, you guys have been really efficient with your time and our time tonight. So I'll ask one more time, going once. Any more questions? Okay, going twice. Kurt did a really good job of putting information in the chat. So save your chat for links, and you have Kurt's email address. So everybody email Kurt and share it on social media so everybody will have Kurt's email address. Kurt is a wealth of information, as is everyone else. But we do appreciate you. We are here for you. I can't say that enough. It is because of you that we do the work that we do. And so hopefully we've been able to answer all of your questions. If additional questions come up, we will be available through December 7th to answer and address any of your questions. And we may even do this again. And so if you feel like you have other friends or colleagues who are artists that would like to have an in-person virtual conversation, then we can organize another time and be available to do so. And so I will turn it over to my AIPP colleagues. Do any of you have any closing words, sentiments, or comments that you would like to share before we say goodbye to everyone?
I think Alex has put a link in the chat for everyone. If you could take just a few moments to take our post-event survey, this helps us with our reporting out. It will take 2 seconds.
1, 2.
We'll also send that out to you guys as well. But I just thought I'd drop it in right now.
Perfect.
As someone who sits around the office and hears a lot, I just wanted to let everybody know not to sit on this to the last minute in case anything should go wrong with your application, the site crashes. Try to get ahead of that as much as you can. I know this from my own personal experience as well as an artist. I just wanted to put that out there because we don't want you missing out, because of some glitch technically.